Hello. So today I am sharing with you 10 life hacks that I believe every Black woman should learn from nurses. But before we get into it, let me just introduce myself. My name's Dr. Nicole Shine. I'm a nurse practitioner with a background in family medicine. Here on this channel, I am helping you to create the life that you want to live rather than the one that has been assigned to you. On this channel, I talk about things related to health, wellness, nutrition, and travel. And specifically, I like to help Black women to incorporate travel into their wellness strategy. So that's what I'm here for, because I do believe that number one, health is wealth, but also number two, I believe that travel is therapy. And I believe that if you haven't already, you need to incorporate travel into your wellness plan in order to optimize your health. So let's talk about these 10 life hacks that I believe every Black woman should know from nurses. Number one that I have on my list is to get your bag. Yes, get that money in order. Okay, so they say that money can't buy happiness, but let me tell you, it does help. Girl, don't let nobody fool you, because yes, money does help with happiness. And one thing that I know about these nurses that I've seen, these nurses are out here getting their bag. They're getting their money in order. And yes, you should too. So I was reading some research because, we always talk about money can't buy happiness. But I actually found some data that according to the research, 60% of Americans say that money can buy happiness. So I don't know. But what I will say is that according to this article, more money is linked to increased happiness. So it definitely can't hurt. Get the money in order. And I would say specifically as a nurse, one thing that I found to be really, really helpful is I've never had issues of being unemployed or underemployed. Being a nurse has always given me opportunities to supplement my income, those types of things. Now, I will admit, I was previously an overworked nurse. I don't do that anymore. I'm not encouraging you to do that. But in order to avoid that, it's important to get your money in order. It is extremely important that you have financial stability in order for you to have the freedom that you desire. Right? You want time, you want power over your time. You want to be able to do the things that you enjoy. Those are the things that contribute to happiness. And having financial stability opens that door. Right? Number two, I would say negotiate your salary. It's related to number one, so that's why I'm going to have this as number two. It's the reality based on data that most Black women do not negotiate their salary. And I think one thing that we learn as nurses very early on is the importance of negotiating our salary. I pulled some numbers, and what I found is that, what did they say? Less than 10% of women even attempt to negotiate their salary, while more than 60% of men typically will negotiate their salary. And negotiating your salary is really, really important because it really significantly changes the trajectory of your earning potential over the lifetime of your career, regardless of what position that you're in. So very important to negotiate your salary. We nurses really learned this early on because we are independently licensed. And so I feel like we as nurses realize that we bring value to our job, right? We realize that we're bringing particular skills. And so we start developing the skill set to negotiate pretty early on. So I think it's really important that Black women begin to realize that you bring value to the job. Whatever it is that you're doing, you are valuable. You are helping them to, to earn more money. And in order for them to do that, you are bringing value. And so definitely consider negotiating if you have not had practice doing that. Next thing that I have on my list is to surround yourself with people who have strengths in your areas of weakness. So I think that we as nurses, we learn this really early on because, oftentimes as a nurse, we're working as teams, right? In particular, if we're working in the hospital or something like that, it's very easy to kind of navigate towards the people who you have things in the most things in common with. I think we all tend to do that, right? We tend to feel most comfortable around the people who are most like us. But being a nurse, one thing that you will discover is that that does not always work out well in terms of being the most effective to get the job done. You want to surround yourself with people who have strengths in your areas of weakness in order to be proficient in the job that you're doing, right? And I feel that as Black women, we can apply that to so many different aspects of our lives. Yeah, you can try to work on the things that you're weak in and try and enhance certain things, or you can really just surround yourself with someone who's good at that thing. You know what I mean? Like, you have some things that you are naturally skilled, naturally gifted in. And it's really, really beneficial to just surround yourself in people who have strengths in other areas where you don't, right? I know that for me, I'm an Aries, and some of our personality traits that I've read, if you're into astrology, are like, we tend to be leadership oriented, goal oriented, pretty energetic, probably a little more willing to take charge of the situation. I don't know. What do y'all think about Aries? Tell me the truth. If you know what Aries, y'all tell me the truth about us. Sometimes I know that people will, we can be a little bit stubborn, right? Set in our ways. But ultimately what I'm saying is you don't necessarily need to be around people who are exactly like you. It's good to surround yourself with a community of people who can excel in the areas that you don't. It's really going to benefit you. Next that I have on my list is to stay calm, observe, and to ensure your safety before attempting to help others. Yes. So as nurses, we learn this very early on in our training, that before we are ever to intervene in any situation to provide help or services, we first have to ensure that we are going to be safe to do so. And if we're not expected to intervene. That's just the way it is. But I think that we as Black women are trained to help others, even to our detriment, right? And so I think it's really important for us to kind of unlearn that, to realize that it's really important that we can see something going on, we can be unhappy about it and feel like something should be done, but make a decision that it's going to compromise our safety or compromise our emotional health or whatever the case is. And so therefore we don't intervene. We have to preserve ourselves and take care of ourselves first. Something that I think all Black women can learn from nurses. The next that I would say is to be loyal to yourself more than you're loyal to your job. Make sure you're taking care of yourself over any job. Whatever job it is that you get, one of the first things that you should be doing is establishing an exit strategy. That's just the truth. You want to establish some good stability, some FU money, right? It's the first job you get. These are the priorities. You should be taking care of paying down that debt so that whatever happens, you are going to be okay with or without the job, right? But definitely establish boundaries. Decide for you what things you are willing and not willing to do at that job so that they're just not pouring more and more work on you and expecting you to do more and more. And I think we learned this early on as nurses because we are forced to learn the scope of practice for our license. And we are sometimes faced with jobs who will ask us to do things that are outside of the scope of our license. And legally, we are required to know our own limits and to say no. So yes, we as nurses learn to establish boundaries like, nope, I don't do that. Nope, I'm not comfortable with that. Nope. And you should do that as well within the scope of whatever it is that you're doing, your job, wherever you need to establish those boundaries. But learning to establish those boundaries and learning to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and protecting yourself before others is important. The next that I have on my list is to be kind to your body. Be kind to your body. You're going to have it for the rest of your life. So, we as nurses, we get to see the unfortunate circumstances when people have injuries or illness or chronic disease, or they abuse their bodies in different ways. And of course, it's just not worth it. So be kind to your body, take care of yourself, take care of your health. You don't get another body in 40 years or in 45 years. So take care of your body, be kind to your body, nourish it with good food, exercise your body, don't overwork, make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Just be kind to your body, okay? The next that I have on my list is the skill of being able to de-escalate and empathize. So de-escalation, I think, is really, really important for us as women to have some tools to de-escalate some things. As a nurse, we learned that very early on, right? We are dealing with people who are vulnerable, and sometimes they are unhappy, and at times they can become aggressive, right? And the last thing that you want to do is to be provoking situations, right? Engaging in these situations so that they go on. And so for us as nurses, we learn very early on how to de-escalate situations because we're trying to preserve our life, right? Our mental stability and our emotional health for the long term. And so definitely try and develop skills on how to de-escalate in order to make sure that you are living a healthy life. You don't want to put yourself at risk, especially as a woman, a Black woman. You don't want to be out here provoking situations so that they excel. Not that things are your fault, you know what I mean? Sometimes we get into situations and it's the other person's fault. But I think we learn early on as nurses that it don't matter whose fault it is if your safety is compromised. The goal now here is to take care of your safety and make sure that you get out of that situation with everything intact. And so, yes, de-escalate. The next that I have, it looks like the last thing that I have on my list, is to live your life while you are alive. Live your life while you're alive. Okay? Take it from me as a nurse. And if you don't believe me, take it from Bonnie Ware. She's the author of the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And she was like a hospice nurse. And I read her book last year in 2023. And she shared in her book the 5 regrets of the dying. And I'll just list them here for you. One is that I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. That is so powerful. I'm going to read that again. I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So I would say definitely take some time to think about your life. Are you living the life that you want to live, or are you living the life that is expected of you? Think about that, because you don't want to have that regret. Number 2, in that book, she talked about the regret of, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Yeah. I'm a former overworked nurse, so I can relate to that, but I cut that out. It's not worth it, right? We want to live our life and experience our life while we can. And in order to experience the best life, we can't be out here overworking for years and years and years. It's not worth it. The next is, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. And this can be hard, but I think it's so valuable to learn how to express yourself. And I think that life basically is a classroom where we get to experience how we can express ourselves. And it takes practice, and we're not going to do it perfectly. And it requires that we're willing to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, and we're willing to accept that we are going to make mistakes, right? But I think it's so worth it, right? The next was, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. That's an important one. And then finally, she said, one of the regrets of the dying was, I wish I had let myself be happier. Really important to allow yourself to be happy, allow yourself to experience joy, allow yourself to explore and have adventure. And I just think it's so important and valuable, which is why, one of the reasons why I have this channel, which is why I think it's so important to incorporate travel as a part of your wellness plan, and why I'm here, because I'd love to help you do that. But more importantly, because it's also had such a positive influence on my life. In fact, I would say probably one of the most valuable things that I've done for myself in terms of my health and my wellness overall. Taking time out to travel, because it's given me time with myself. It's given me an opportunity to explore different aspects of my personality, and just so many things. I won't get into that, but that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you can, please leave a comment below. Let me know about some of the things that you found helpful, and till next time, bye.